could we be given warning at the beginning of a programme if there's going to be anything about the Beatles, as all Beatle fans can make sure to listen, and have a chance to ring up other fans to make sure they are also listening.
Hi everybody, this is John here. This is Paul, George,
and Ringo.
And we're very happy to be on your program once again.
Welcome everybody, this is Steve Marinucci, your Beatles news guy, bringing you Beatles News Brief Show number 88. On today's show we'll feature a discussion about the Beatles and the Monkees with Monkees book author Fred Velez, who spent a lot of time with the Monkees and can talk with authority on how they felt about that group, their group, the Beatles, whom they encountered in different ways at different times, and the apparently still controversial decision of whether they belong in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. The most recent announcement of candidates did not include them, either group or as solo artists. So we'll talk about how the group felt about that, and as both Fred and I have talked with each of them at various times and have heard their opinions. We'll also have an interview with author Luca Perasi, who talks about his recent and upcoming books on two Beatles solo careers. Afterwards, we'll have some news for you, so don't go away after the interviews. First, here comes my interview with Fred Velez. We can talk about the Monkees because today is Peter's birthday. I interviewed him once, and I met him at the boarding house in San Francisco when he played there, and he was a very nice guy.
He was very nice.
Give me some memories of him. Give me a memory of Peter that sticks out in your head.
Oh boy. Okay. Well, I remember first meeting him back in the late 70s, early 80s when he was doing little clubs and stuff like the Bottom Line, and Speakeasy in particular was great. To see him in a small club like this, and this pre-Monkee reunion from 86.
Mm-hmm.
And there were, in fact, this alludes to the reunion. In 1985, I attended one of the Happy Together tours. They had the Turtles, Tommy James, and
right.
Peter was there as a guest of David Fishoff. And this was a talk. He was going to have a talk with David Fishoff about the Monkee reunions, which would take place a year later. And I saw Peter, and I said, "Hello, hi. And are you enjoying the show?" Yeah, I'm here for some business, though. So I got to see him a year prior to the Monkee reunions happening.
Fishoff was also the guy that did the Ringo All-Star. He got the All-Star band thing going. So go ahead.
And going back to like 1980, if you recall the Uncle Floyd show.
Barely.
Barely. I was in New York, New Jersey thing. He went syndicated. Right. But Peter was a guest of the Uncle Floyd show, and he made a few appearances there, and he loved the show because it was like very freewheeling, improv, everything. So I was invited to attend the taping of one of the shows when Peter was there. And I got to be on camera with Uncle Floyd and Peter. And later got, some pictures taken of Peter in front of the Uncle Floyd studios. A picture of me and him just enjoying it, just having a laugh together, which, is something I prize. And then moving on ahead into the reunion years, 1989, when the Monkees got their star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. This was all four Monkees. Michael Nesmith had played the concert with them at the Universal Amphitheater the night before. And the day of the ceremony, there was a Monkees convention that weekend, and I was assigned as convention security for the Walk of Fame ceremony. So I got to go inside the theater, the Vogue Theater in Los Angeles,
right,
where the movie had premiered in 1968.
Oh, wow.
So, and that's where the ceremony was going to take place. So I got to be inside the theater, and I got to see Peter and Davey, who I also knew, and Mickey and Mike. And Peter actually introduced me to Mike, who I had met previously, but I didn't really know that well. And he said, there's an original fan that used to see me in the clubs, and we went together to the Uncle Floyd show. That's a show you would have loved, Mike.
My interview with Mike was one of the most memorable things I ever had. And he was incredible. We talked for an hour and a half. He was just absolutely wonderful. The memory I have of that interview, he was amazing. He was happy to talk about everything. But anyway, back to Peter.
But you mentioned that for that Mike interview that you said maybe Mike was like me and one of the Beatles.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it really was. It really was. It was amazing. I have a funny Peter story. I was in Berkeley. I used to go to Berkeley all the time to go to record stores.
Mm-hmm.
And I was in Leopold's Records. They had an area downstairs where they had albums lined on the wall and stuff like this where you could, look at them. They had them displayed for people to buy. And I was standing there looking at a bunch of albums, and this guy came over standing next to me, and I didn't really look at him very well. And then after he walked away, I went, "Was that Peter Tork?" It turned out Peter was playing in San Francisco that night, so it could have very well been Peter. But I didn't say a word to him. I wasn't paying enough attention. And I was kicking myself later that I didn't talk to him. His show in San Francisco was great. He did a Beatles song at the end, and I can't remember off the top of my head.
It could have been Lady Madonna.
It might have been, yeah. He did a Beatles song. I believe he did it on the piano. But it was a great, it was a really good show. It was a really, really good show. And he was very memorable. He was a great guy. And I hate to bring up an old wound, I suppose, but with the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame candidates coming out again, the Monkees, and I'm really pushing Nesmith because I think Nesmith. I mean, there's no reason why the hell Nesmith should not be in there. And again, none of the Monkees, none of the individuals, especially Nesmith, were mentioned. I keep thinking that they'll smarten up and they'll do something, but I
totally agree with you. They've long deserved to be there, and they should have been there while all the members were still alive. Now, sadly, we only have Mickey left. God bless him. I hope he'll be around. He'll be with us for as long as possible. I mean, he's going to turn 80 this next month.
Right.
So, God bless Mickey. I hope he'll be well, and he's still touring and everything like that.
You ever talk to them about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? In my conversations with them, I got to talk to all four of them, and they all really kind of said, we don't care, which I kind of, I don't believe that. I believe that they would have been very happy to be in it.
Davey and Peter were the most said that we deserved to be there. Mike and Mickey were a bit more ambivalent about it. Davey, in particular, he was on TV. One of his last interviews was talking about why the Monkees are not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Anyway, at the backstage at the Vogue Theater, a friend of mine who was a friend of the Monkees, also photographer Mike Bush, was taking photos of the four of them, and I was talking to Davey and Peter, and we're talking to Mike. And Mike was really great because when you met Mike, did you interview him in person?
The interview I did with him was over the phone. However, I did meet him in person on the Mike and Mickey tour. I met about a year or so before he passed. He made it very clear to me that he enjoyed talking to me. And he even said, maybe someday we'll talk again. Of course, that never happened. I actually talked to him twice. The second time was the hour and a half one, I think. Yeah, right. But he was, I'd always heard, things about him and, that he was standoffish and everything like that. And he wasn't with me at all. In fact, I had seen him on a number of occasions. I had seen him in concert. And one of the concerts we had seen was at the Palace of Fine Arts when he did The Prison. And he mentions that, remember he mentions that in the book. And right. He said he got drunk after the show in a bar. And I said, Mike, I love that show. It was great. And he said, you did? And I said, yeah. And he was really surprised that anybody liked that show,
Right. Well, that's the experience I had with Mike, always had with Mike whenever I had the opportunity to talk to him, is he always gives you his full attention. He always gave you his full attention. He was listening to you. And that always stood out for me. That he was, he gave you eye contact. listened to every word you were talking about. And that will always stick with me regarding Mike Nesmith, that he gave you his full attention whenever he spoke to you. But anyway, back to the story. Mike Bush was taking pictures of the Monkees. I was talking with Peter, Davey, and Mike. Mickey was there too. Mike Bush says, "Excuse me, Fred, but you're in the picture." I said, "Oh, I'm sorry." And I started to move away. All of a sudden, I feel someone grab me by the arm and pull me back, and it was Peter. And Peter said, "Fred, you are in the picture."
It's like that's exactly like what he would say.
Yes. So
he was a very kind. He was he was a really kind person. He was, if there was a hippie type, quote quote hippie type, he was it. He was
right.
definitely it.
And that's how I got that picture taken of me with all four monkeys. And the look on my face is, I can't believe I'm in this picture. There's a fifth person in the picture. He was the guitar player in the Monkees band, also Davy's band. His name is
can't remember his name.
Lawrence Haley. Okay. He was nicknamed Laurie. So he's the fifth person with the Monkees in that photo with me. So that's the picture that graces my first book, A Little Bit Me, A Little Bit You, the Monkees from a fan's perspective, because it's such a great memory. And Peter made that memory possible. And I'll always thank Peter for making that moment and that memory. God bless his sweet soul.
Let's talk brief, since this is supposed to be a Beatles podcast, about the Monkees and the Beatles. I mean, Mickey has talked about his attending the recording sessions. There are pictures of
Mike
one
at the
Day in the Life. Wasn't it Day in the Life?
Yeah.
And then Peter played with George on was that Wonderwall?
Wonderwall. The Wonderwall Monkees not on the album.
Right. And then Davey, I don't know that I mean, other than the fact that Davey, of course, was on the Ed Sullivan Show with them the first time.
There's a picture of Davey with Lulu and Ringo in the studios while they were recording, I guess around 1968, 67 or 68.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, Davey was the first Monkee to meet the Beatles
right.
at Ed Sullivan Show, because they were both there for the Beatles premiere on February 1964, excuse me.
Right.
Davey had a story which I was able to use for my book, that he was with the Beatles and he looked at Ringo and Ringo looked at him and he said, if you get an itch on your nose, I'll scratch it for you because I'm closer to it than you are. And Ringo laughed and said, I think you are.
Did they ever discuss the Beatles in front of you? Do you ever talk about the Beatles with them?
Yes, I was, when Charles Rosenet did his Beatle Con in 1994, 95. Davey was a special guest, and I got to interview Davey on stage. So I got to talk to Davey about the appearance on the Ed Sullivan Show and that story about Ringo. So yeah, he talked about the Beatles a lot on that show, and in his show concerts at the time, he was doing the song Star Collector, and in the middle 8, they would throw in the Day Tripper riff. So that's how Davey would acknowledge the Beatles from time to time. And there's that famous Pizza Hut commercial with the three Monkees. Yeah, so there's another connection.
That's right there. Yeah, I think Peter talked to me about that one too. That was a lot of fun. There's one thing, I don't know if I should tell you this, but when I talked to Davey the first time, because I talked to him twice, he told me about the Ed Sullivan Show that he had his eyes on Georgia Brown. Did he ever say anything like that to you? That he liked Georgia Brown?
Well, Georgia Brown played Nancy in the production of
and she was older than he was.
Right, but he was like sort of his protege.
Uh-huh.
And they were very friendly, but I think it was more like a brother-sister kind of relationship.
Oh, okay.
I mean, if you look up the video of Davey's, I guess, TV debut on America, on the Merv Griffith Show, Georgia Brown introduces him and he does sort of a melody of Oliver, and you see how chummy he is with Georgia, and Georgia is with him. So look it up, Merv Griffin Show, Davy Jones, and you'll see it.
I will say, as a young boy watching them on the Ed Sullivan Show, I had my eyes on Georgia Brown.
She was a good actress, and it was quite a time.
Yeah, she was.
Now, I actually got to see her on
ahead.
Broadway when Sting did one three-penny opera, and Georgia Brown was in the cast. She was
wow.
She was much older then,
right?
But I had the program, and I looked it over recently, and said, "Oh wait, oh yeah, Georgia Brown was in that show."
Wow, I wasn't aware of that. That's really cool. Well, Fred, thank you very much for you did this on short notice, and I mean really short notice. And I want to thank you for doing this, and let everybody know again about your book.
I will. Oh yeah, and I have a second book too. I don't know if you could see my little thing there. Got two books. A little bit me, a little bit you, a little bit me. The Monkees from a fan's perspective, and my second book, a little bit me, a little bit you too. The Monkees from international fan perspectives, where I got more stories with fans around the world. Valerie Carey Vinay, the widow of Nick Vinay, who discovered the Beach Boys, and she was an actress who did a lot of work on the Monkees, and she was actually Davy's stand-in the show.
Oh, wow.
And I got a interview with Dino Kovis, who was one of the new Monkees, and he has some really good stories too. The thing with the new Monkees and the Monkees is that they pretty much went through the same thing of being marginalized because of, the thing. Only the new Monkees got a bum steer.
You think so?
Oh, yeah, they got a bum steer because, for one thing, they were created by Bob Rafelson and Bert Schneider, who created the original group, plus Steve Blonner, who was the silent partner in the group.
Right.
And the difference was that the New Monkey scripts were not written by professional script writers. They were written by like college kids. And it was a syndicated show. It was not a network show, so they didn't have a network backing them. And they were promised a lot of things, which the Monkees were promised too. And they didn't get those things. And then when the whole project fell, it was like it was the same way with the Monkees. So when the Monkees project ended, Bert Schneider and Bob pretty much waved goodbye to them and let them flounder on their own. So that's what happened to the new Monkees. So that's where they had a lot in common. But whatever rifts there were between the Monkees and the new Monkees vanished a long time ago because the new Monkees appeared with Mickey on several occasions and with Mike.
Oh, see, I wasn't aware of that. Wow.
And Peter gave them a thumbs up too later on when he saw that they were performing with Mickey, and he said, "So great to see this," Yeah, and so any rifts between the Monkees and new Monkees are parted. The new Monkees are considered part of the Monkees family now.
Wow. Are there any that to be honest, I haven't looked up any of their stuff on YouTube. Is there new Monkey stuff on YouTube?
Their only album is available on iTunes and other streaming services. So
really?
Officially. So you could look it up, you could stream it, listen to it. There's good stuff. It's 80s pop, but it's very good stuff. So listen to it. It's really good. Some of the videos from the TV show, mostly the music videos, you could find. Just look up New Monkees and they should pop up. And the music videos are actually very good, are very well done.
Are they any of the members doing anything now? Do you know?
They are. Dino is in films. Jared Chandler works in films. He's an actor. And he's appeared as an extra and in roles in many different movies. Marty Ross still does music, and he's a DJ on the Monkey Mania radio station.
Oh, okay. Where is that found?
It's on. It's on. Let me just check for a second. Give me a moment.
Sure.
Hope I don't lose you.
You went into a little box, but like I said, we're doing audio only, so it doesn't matter.
All right. They're on Live 365. Look up.
That's what I was trying to think of. I was wondering if that's where they were. Okay.
Right.
Okay, so they're on Live 365. And that
Right.
it's just for anybody that isn't aware of that, Live 365 is like the Monkees version of the Beatles channel.
Yeah, everybody knows it. It's been on for almost 4 years now and doing well. Unfortunately, Alan Williams, who created the station, passed away recently from cancer, but it's being continued by Mick Lawless.
Okay.
And Marty Ross has a show. He DJs on Monkey Media Radio. And the last member of the new Monkees, Larry Saltis, has his own band, and he does a lot of music too. So they're all pretty busy. They're all pretty busy. And
go ahead.
Once in a while, they do reunite and get together. And last time they were backing Mickey, which was great.
Does Mickey ever do anything on Live 365?
Mickey has been interviewed on 365. He's done he's done radio promos on there. So yes, he has been there. He has done stuff on 365, but because he's busy, he's not there all the time. So mostly he'll do an interview or he'll do a radio promo for it. And his sister Coco has done that too.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, again, Fred, thank you for doing this on such crazy short notice. Hope you enjoyed the interview with Fred Velez. Here's a little bit of news. On Saturday, Ringo was in Nashville, the home of country music, to make his debut at the Grand Ole Opry and to promote his latest album, Look Up. We confirmed with his press office that Ringo performed 3 songs, Time on My Hands, Act Naturally, and A Little Help from My Friends. We have several videos of Ringo on stage posted on our Beatles News and Information site on Facebook, including one that has the full set. On that site, we post news, information, and surprises every day. If you're not already a member, we'd love to have you join us. Next, let's bring on our chat with author Luca Perasi with a brief on what he's published right now and what he's working on. Here's Luca Perasi. How are you? It's been a couple of years since we've talked, hasn't it?
Yeah, maybe more. I can't really remember, but I'm fine. Went through some issues during the past years, but now it's gonna be okay. It's okay. So
yeah, no, I know where you're coming from because I took a couple of years off from doing things, and I'm back now. So
yeah.
So yeah, I know what you mean. You're working on another book, aren't you? Or are you?
Well, I'm working on lots of projects. So maybe you know that I just published volume 2 of Music's Ideas, Paul McCartney, the stories behind the songs, and that's a great accomplishment. So we are, completing this series, and next projects will be a Ringo book.
Really?
There's this first part of Ringo stories behind the songs as well, which I think it will be released hopefully sometime in March or April. So we're
okay. So we're right on top of that. Okay,
yeah,
cool.
And it will be 1997. I wanted to cut it in 2 parts. There's lots of things that Ringo has done from 1998 on, and so I think it's okay to split this mini series in 2 parts. And then on the McCartney field, I say, which is my main one.
Right.
I got a new book coming out on my series called Milestones that has seen a book on Band on the Run last year, and next April as well there will be a book on Press to Play, which is kind of a neglected album. We all know why. It was not that successful, but I think it's an interesting album as well. There's lots to discover, and so the book will be called Press to Play, That Unmistakable 80s Sound, which is quite self-explanatory, and yeah. So these are the two books that are coming out in the next months. Yeah.
Oh, good. That sounds great. You're keeping very busy.
I'm keeping very busy. Yes, yes. As I told you, I went through some issues on the health, on my health, which is improving now, and the loss of my father. And then as a reaction, sometimes it happens that you have a burst of energy and activities and things you want to accomplish, and so that's why. So that's in the Beatles related field, but I got all the other projects as well.
Okay.
So there's
we'll
things.
We'll keep it to the Beatles related field for now. Yeah. But I look forward to talking with you when they're closer to when the Ringo book comes out, and we can talk about it in more detail at that point.
Oh, sure.
So,
sure.
It's good to talk to you again. And anytime you wanna talk to me and get the word out, I'm more than happy to talk to you. So.
Absolutely, I will get in touch with you and send you the volume and do some promotion. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. You take it easy, Luca, and thanks for talking to me.
Yeah. Thanks for you, Steve. Great.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you. Bye-bye.
May Pang is currently on a city-to-city exhibit with photos she took of John Lennon over the next few months. She'll be in Florida, Louisiana, Texas, Toronto, Canada, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Washington, D.C., Massachusetts, Maine, and New York. For more details on where she'll be, check out the website rockartshow.com. That's rockartshow.com. Julian Lennon is also doing artistic photo exhibits in Italy and New York. He has a virtual gallery at https://whispers.julian.com. And that's our show for today. Be with us next time for our next exciting adventure. I think I've been watching a little too many Rocky and Bullwinkle cartoons there. In any event, we'll hope you join us next time for some more discussion and information. Until then, this is Steve Marinucci, your Beatles news guy, saying,
"Be seeing you."
Keep that one. Mark it fab.
What a show!